Hello and welcome to another episode of Redacted. Today is Wednesday, February 17th, 2016. And I'm joined with Twerk17 and BoredGamer. How are you guys?
What's going on?
We're literally joined together.
We are.
Yeah.
We're literally joined with twins or
We're
triplets.
twins. I've become
Yeah.
a ghost, but I'm not one of you yet. Hang on.
You're very bright.
Wow.
Yeah.
You-
He's
this
inside
is-
the sun. He's
This
in
is
the sun.
Saurus's natural skin color.
That is my natural skin color. I have to actually go and do negative gamma to,
His asteroid hangar is just really, really close to a sun. That's all.
yeah.
Oh man,
So just,
Yeah.
you guys didn't know that. Now
that
you
was
do.
a beautiful, bright face there.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, let's just jump right into it, I guess.
That's,
Twerk17, what have you been up to?
I've been doing a lot. So we worked on, Proxus and Squirrel worked on some of the interviews, and we have a couple of those for you today, and we're pretty excited to show them with that. I've also, I've talked to my stream about this, but I'm looking to go back to college, so I actually spent some time talking to a few professors and advisors and things like that. And also, as you can see, maybe at this point, playing XCOM horribly. So this clip that we're showing right now is like basically everyone keeps making fun of me of not taking my time and making my decisions properly, and I basically shot one of my own teammates in the face at some point. So yeah.
So is this the Leroy Jenkins way of playing?
Yeah,
YOLO,
like I'm just like, oh yeah,
yeah.
let's do this. That sounds like a good idea, and then it's too late.
Did you at least get chicken out of it, or what?
No, I didn't get anything out of it. I actually have to restart. I think
Good job.
we've all agreed to restart from the beginning because I pretty much after this game here that we're watching, my whole squad got wiped and got pretty screwed because I didn't build things in the right order. So this is my first XCOM game, so I'm learning. I started at rookie, and I'm just
Yeah.
So
And
we're gonna play it again.
With your school stuff, what are you looking at majoring in?
So there was this cocktail waitress that I work with, and I was telling her that I originally wanted to major in IT, and a lot of people were telling me to get out of that. Like, don't do it. They're outsourcing everything. Like, just don't even bother.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was this girl was like super passionate about supply chain management, and I started researching it, and it's like it casts a wide net. The wages are decent if you're educated and get into a good job. So like I'm pretty excited about that. I know I want to go back to school, but the
For what is sort of still up in the
is
air?
what I'm still kind of thinking about. But I am starting to get really excited about this in particular. So it's looking like it's gonna be this. So yeah.
Right on.
Oh, good luck, bro.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
And BoredGamer, what have you been up to?
So today I've been a bit frazzled. I moved over to Windows 10.
Yes. Yes.
And some of my stuff wasn't supported properly, so I had some issues with that. But
What
I got my
things
head
weren't
around
supported, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, so everything was actually supported. There was just some odd things with my sound card because I've got a Sound Blaster Recon 3D Fatality Pro, which seemed to it didn't want to install with the drivers that on the Sound Blaster website. So I had to use Windows 8 drivers in the end. Everything got confusing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't confusing because all I needed to do was run Windows Update. I don't like doing Windows updates. I like doing everything myself.
Okay.
So I just ran a Windows update and fixed it. It was the simplest thing in the world. I don't normally do that. That's all.
Cool.
Everyone else probably just goes done.
I'm a little bit afraid to switch over. My gaming PCs can switch over to Windows 10. My streaming PC isn't because my capture card is from Japan and it has Japanese only software. But I have a special software that is translated and is a little bit different for a different card, but it works for this one. And so I'm like, it's like
that's a
teetering on the
gamble.
balance.
Install Windows 10 on a different drive and then just see what happens. So, spoilers, Windows 10 does give you better gaming performance and is, as long as everything all your software is supported and your hardware is supported, it is much better. And Windows 10 seems to support more things more readily. So you could be using really old stuff, really new stuff, really random stuff, and there'll be some form of Windows 10 driver for it just natively. But not always. And there are fiddly things. I've only just moved over now because OBS QuickSync supports Windows 10 much more readily now.
Okay.
And I was using that for recording because I get a lot better quality with that. But yeah, so I think I'm able to record in 1440p now.
Did you want to touch base a little bit on the sweet effects stuff that we're watching right now?
Yeah, so I've been, over the last couple of weeks, looking at Star Citizen mods. One of the major things I want to do on my channel is look at any Star Citizen mod that is noteworthy. And this mod that you're seeing at the moment is a mod for SweetFX, which is a program that injects new shaders and lighting effects and that sort of stuff into games. And Zenthor made a modified version of that, his own little tweaks on that, called Zenthor's Reshade for SweetFX. It's really easy to install, and it makes Star Citizen look so much better.
Yeah, I can see the difference.
Well, so I kept on looking at it going, oh, is there a difference? Oh, there's definitely a little bit of a difference. You can turn it, I didn't realise you could turn the driver on and off with scroll lock, and I was doing it later and just going, Star Citizen looks crap compared to this. Because I got used to it, I was like, this looks so much better. And it genuinely adds so much definition and that sort of stuff to it. It's not for everyone, so Star Citizen has a washed out look to me, normally. Even with colour grading on whatever, it still has a little bit of a washed out look. This just basically removes that, adds loads of definition and shading and lighting effects. It does make it slightly darker, but you can adjust your own gamma and stuff to make it brighter again. But I think it looks so much better. And I'll be looking at lots of different mods as well. I tried to get Pirate Swarm working, but Pirate Swarm was a while ago, and it basically just changed all the Vandal into human pirate ships. But that doesn't currently work with the current version of Star Citizen. What else was I looking at? What was the other mod I did the other day? I looked at Holo Explore. So that's an alternative to the Holo Table, which is just web-based, which is pretty good. Well, anything's good compared to the Holo Table. Even if I had to, homing pigeon it into CIG, it'd probably be better than the homing table.
Right.
But Holo Explore was pretty cool. That's just web-based Holo Table with loads of stats now. It's got to a stage now where it's pretty impressive. But yeah, so I'm going to be looking at mods anytime I can find any. So if anyone's got any ideas for mods or seen any mods or whatever, tell me, message me, please do. I'm also, I did that scrapyard thingamajig with servers. I'm doing it with workstations at the moment, just trying to secure workstations because they've just got hardware that's more appropriate to building a cheap gaming PC. Some of the servers are a bit finicky. And also at the moment I'm doing cheap projector setups. So the idea of this is that for under $50, you should be able to buy yourself a projector setup for watching movies, playing games, and all that sort of stuff. But it also serves another purpose, to add ambience to your game. So I want to be able to projector around
the game behind your monitors.
Yes, exactly. And then you get the ambience, you get the colour, you get the lighting, and it adds to the atmosphere and immersion. And I think that would be pretty good. But let's see if I can get it working. It's all to do with price point as well. I'm sure you can get it working for $1,000, but I want to be able to get it working for under 50 and low amounts of effort because I like being lazy. As a gamer, I want to just sit in my chair and not have to move. I had to put 6 nails up for my projector screen. That is something I didn't want to do. That was sweaty work. But yeah, other than that, just playing lots of Star Citizen, trying to get my skill up again. I played a game last week with Twerk, where Darkstar 100 just boned me. Although I didn't have a particularly good loadout, I got very, very, very annoyed. So I've been getting my skill back up and just going, right, I'm doing meta builds then, screw everyone. So yeah, Star Citizen mods, all that sort of jazz. What have you been up to, Saurus? Huh?
I, last night, actually, just played Layers of Fear. Went to full version.
It's been remade, isn't it? Yeah, it's full version.
Well, it was just like a demo. It was an hour demo. It's still good. It was really good. And I played that back in October. and I heard that they fully released yesterday, and they did at about 5 o'clock my time. So I played that. It was just over 3 hours. Played that. It's such a fun game. It's so good.
It's the closest thing we have currently to the PT or
That's
Silent
right.
Hills demo.
That's right.
There are some so fun.
There are some more games coming, like Allison Road. Is
This
what
art
I
as
know.
well.
Yeah, that I know off the top of my head. But yeah, it's so good. And honestly, this is a game that I'm excited and scared shitless if it's available in VR.
What,
Oh
Allison
my
Road?
god, yeah.
Either Allison Road or this.
Just this genre in general.
Yeah.
So there was something really, really great about Layers of Fear for me, and is it didn't rely at all on jump scares. It just gave you a nice sense.
There were some. There were some.
But it's a lot of it is more sort of like building anticipation.
Yeah, psychological and
yeah, really surreal psychologically. But it doesn't rely on those jump scares at all.
No.
It does have a couple, but it's more that it makes you feel uncomfortable and it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good at making you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so that's a doll looking at me. And it's not really like whatever. It's like, okay, so do I walk towards it? Like, this was a really weird part. It wasn't really scary when like the fruits and the vegetables were coming out of the painting, but it's like, I don't really want to be here right now. Yeah, and it just gets a little weird. But the story's pretty cool. I'm not gonna ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it or that wants to play it, but it is a very short game. Like I said, it's only about 3 hours or whatever, but yeah, it was
Definitely worth playing.
Definitely worth playing. So I did that, and I've done a lot of Star Citizen, all kinds of like Benny's runs and Comare. I still haven't been able to do all the Comares in one sitting, unfortunately, and it's just like either people are following me on stream and shooting me and ruining it on stream, or the servers crash, or whatever. Any one of the myriad of issues that sort of come up when you try and do anything long term in Star Citizen.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of tough trying to find different things to do. Like, we've sort of done the Voltron, we've done the Aurora Bowling, we've done Benny's to literally everywhere, right? I've taken Benny's to the top of Korea. I don't know how many times I've taken it to a bunk up in the top of Olisar. So yeah, all of that stuff. But I mean, just still messing around, doing a lot of Vandal Swarm runs. So if anybody's looking for a Vandal Swarm run, every day at 1 p.m. PST, as soon as I go live, I usually start with at least one Vandal Swarm, even if it's just myself. And I just go through and help out some random people that are going through. Also, I still have the Benny's shirt. It's still available. And those kittens, there's been 5 that have been saved. Because people have bought the shirts.
But that's all of them.
Well, that's all the ones that you can see.
Oh, okay.
It's a representation.
You should have said 4, and there needs to be like the X amount of shirts bought to get the last one saved, guys.
So there is still 13 days. It is going until March 1st. So if you want one of those, you can still go pick one of those up. They come in all different colors and shipped to all over the world. But yeah, so that's pretty much been it for me. Oh, that's actually a lie. My office got bigger. More green screens. I had the desk before, but we have like more green screens over here.
You're in a corner office with a window now?
You can't see it. Yeah, I actually am. I do have a window.
You do have a window.
It does go to my bedroom. And I ordered my extra monitors and cameras yesterday.
Nice.
So $800, and yeah.
Oh, Thriftbot's in pain.
Thriftbot is in pain.
Thriftbot's got heartburn.
Thriftbot's hurting. So that should hopefully be here by Thursday, I think.
By 2017.
Before 2017 gets here.
Good. Solid.
Yep. So That's what I have been up to.
Nice. You want to get into some Star Citizen news?
Yeah, let's start with some ATV, shall we?
Well, yeah. I mean, they started ATV out with explaining kind of the split of Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So
That's right.
if anyone's here and they haven't heard yet, CIG is splitting the packages between Star Citizen and Squadron 42. So you have the option to buy one. Oh, I mean, right now you have the option to buy Star Citizen. You don't actually have the option to buy Squadron 42 package at the moment. It's my understanding that that's going to come when 2.2 drops, as well as the option to upgrade from your Star Citizen package to a Squadron 42 package for $15. Mm-hmm. But for now, you have the option of buying just Star Citizen or buying both, and they'll improve it as they go on. And the next link that I had in there was what the storefront looks like now for game packages, and it looks very, very different. We used to have every Aurora variant. I'm pretty sure every Mustang variant that's not limited. Series. All the 300 series ships had packages. All the Constellations had packages. All the Freelancers that weren't limited had packages, I believe. All the Hornets that had packages. So they've definitely simplified things down, which I think is a really good thing, because I think they do know that it's difficult for a new player to come to the website and say, where do I buy the game, right? Yeah. So like this definitely helps. So you see, like, you have some options. You have. Well,
I still think there's a little bit of that issue.
Yes, there's definitely still that issue. It definitely needs to work.
I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that because
yeah,
so they're splitting the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're splitting into Star Citizen and Squadron 42, and you can buy one or the other for $45 with a starter ship, and then add on this. So if you buy Squadron 42 as your primary with a starter ship, then you can buy Star Citizen for $15, or if you do it the other way around, you can buy Squadron 42 for $15.
So what does Squadron 42 come with then? Is that just going to be just the game package Squadron 42? There's no point in getting a ship.
No, it comes with Squadron 42 and Arena Commander access.
Okay.
So like you can begin to hone your skills for Squadron 42 in Arena Commander while you're waiting for Squadron 42 to come out.
Yeah.
So you don't have access to Port Olisar, I don't believe, but you have access to Arena Commander and I believe Star Marine when Star Marine's released.
Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And I mean, my question is, in my opinion, I don't understand the point of splitting.
I don't either.
Because so many games nowadays come with a single-player campaign and a multiplayer game.
They're separate games. Like,
yeah,
because they can market them as separate games, they will market them as separate games because they can make more money. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, people that think that CIG aren't about making money eventually, I mean, of course they are.
No, of course they are.
It's a business. And they can get away with splitting it because we live in a world now where, I mean, it was marketed as basically being two separate games. A single
They've been telling us this for forever.
Yeah, for me...
So to be fair, we've known they were going to split for a very, very, very long time.
For me, the whole starter packages plus the Star Citizen plus Squadron 42 combos, what I would have liked to have seen instead is them include Squadron 42 with everything, being as neither of them are out yet, and just up the price of everything. We know the price of everything is going to go up beyond $60 still, right? So...
Maybe.
It definitely.
I think it is.
For both the packages, most definitely it will. But it's like
most probably he means.
Most probably, yeah.
That's what he means.
Yeah. most definitely. But like, I'm saying almost definitely is what I'm getting at. But you have the Mustang starter, the Aurora starter, and then the Star Citizen Squadron 42 combos. What I think makes a lot more sense is if they had just added $15 to all the packages and just kept Squadron 42 in all the packages until the game comes out. And if people want to pick up Squadron 42 separate, then they can pick up Squadron 42 separately when
You
that
mean
game
on the
comes out.
release of Squadron 42,
On release
right?
of, or even upcoming, as soon as we know the date and they want to do pre-orders specifically for Squadron 42, then fantastic.
No, so I think that's what it is going to be. I think it's because they are moving over to a pre-order model
Okay.
from a pledge model that they want to get this out now. They want to get it split, and they want to separate them because some people are just going to want the single player. Some people just want the multiplayer, and even if it's more money or the same amount of money, but you don't get them, some people will be almost happier with that because they're not getting something they don't want. And we knew that it was going to go up in value. I know that what I'm saying could sound counterproductive to some people because why wouldn't you want more? But some people don't want more. Some people want what they want, and that's it.
Yeah,
I
and
don't want all this extra stuff.
that's fair. But like, okay, I don't agree with what I'm going to say now, but I'm going to say it just for the state of the conversation. Like, look at a game like Battlefield. Battlefield's a game that you buy for the multiplayer, but it has a single-player campaign. Like, now, so you get both. You don't have to play the single-player campaign if you don't want to.
With
you don't
almost
have to
every
play Star
game, right?
Citizen.
Like Call of Duty or
exactly.
or
Like you don't have
Arma
to,
or
yeah, exactly. You don't have to play those campaigns if you don't want to. But like, in how my opinion of this thing is well, the Battlefield campaign might not be that fun, and that's why you don't want to play it. Well, they're totally gonna make Squadron 42 it's its own thing. It's a bigger thing than just some
tacked on
thing, right? So that's why I think, it's supposed to be two different things. And I don't even know if Battlefield came with a campaign. I know Hardline did, so there. But like, I don't think people play those games for the campaign, but some people might. I don't know, right? Some people like the tacked on campaigns. But at the same time, like, this is supposed to be bigger than that, and that's why they're trying to sell it as two different games. It just is confusing to people because it's two different games that are combined.
Well, it's just everything.
They go
I think the
together
thing
with each
for
other.
me, and the reason that we may find it confusing is because we find a lot of people coming to us and asking us, "What should I get? What do I need?" And
This makes
and
it
all
really
this
hard
other
on
stuff.
us now.
It makes it more and more difficult for us, and it's like we're essentially selling the product for them, right? And it's like, well,
You filthy shill.
I know. Well, that's what it boils down to, right? Like
How
our
many
channels
referrals
are
do you
based
have?
around this.
BoredGamer?
What?
Yeah.
270?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Actually,
go.
279.
Yeah. So I mean, on top
That's
of
great.
this, and then you have the whole rental thing with the subscriber thing, which is still retarded in my opinion. And then you have the different types of packages on top of what chip should I get, and all of this other stuff. Like it just
They really have. I mean, I know it's hard because the game is still being developed to simplify things to be like, this is what it's going to be, and this is exactly how everything's going to be, because they might not know how everything is going to be right now, right? But at the same time, just looking at the pledge page already, they're going in the right direction, and I like where they're going, and I just hope they do a lot more of that. Like if you look, there's no variants on that list.
No, there
That
are
is
no
all
variants.
base ships.
All base
and
ships.
that's a good
Yeah.
thing. If you want a variant, then you have to upgrade to the variant. You have to buy a single ship after you've already bought a package to get a variant. I like that idea, and that makes that easier on us to help promote the game, and the game that we love and that we want to play with other people, and that's why we promote the game,
The other
and we
thing-
want the game to be successful.
The other thing
So-
too is I know we were talking about how they could possibly be selling ships after launch. Those are the ships we were talking about, and it
Yeah.
very much looks like that's going to be the case. And those are the different
Well,
ships.
let's
and
not say
packages.
that that's
I don't
gonna be
know,
the case
but
that they'll
that's what
sell
it,
after.
That's what it looks like. Those are the packages that
Yeah.
are going to be.
If they were
And
to
I-
do it, it would be
and I
probably
wouldn't-
those packages.
I wouldn't have an issue with them selling small starter packages. I don't have an issue with that at all. Because it seems sensible. It seems sensible to me to make that available to people. But whether you like it or lump it or whatever, the split has now occurred. We can't purchase Squadron 42 separately yet, but we can buy it all as a single package for $15 more. And $15 isn't that much unless you're in the UK, in which case it's actually plus VAT and all that sort of jazz, and it really gets quite expensive. Screw you, VAT! But other people have to spend so much more on tax. This is one of the other things, the knock-on effects, is that as this stuff gets more expensive, if people want to tag on later, if they haven't seen Star Citizen and they've joined the party later, I mean, VAT and other taxes and stuff make stuff so expensive in total.
Yeah.
So,
also, depending on how much more that Canadian dollar plummets, right?
Oh yeah,
it becomes
it's great
more
for me.
and more expensive for us.
So that game Visage you were talking about earlier, I backed it in Canadian dollars, which means it was like so cheap to back.
Like 50 cents.
Yeah.
It was a quarter.
Pretty
But
much.
20p.
so I don't know if you guys are excited, but I know I am. Patch 2.2 is in internal testing right now. And that was as of RTV.
Been internal, since RTV, right?
So like almost a week, right? So they hit the cutoff for what features they wanted. And so like what's done enough to make it into 2.2, and they said on RTV that we would get one hangar ready ship, one flyable ship. These are all, I think these are all like guarantees what we'll probably get. Again, things could change because they're testing the build and they might have to take something out. So one hangar ready ship, one flyable ship, physicalized EVA, which they had in, pulled out, and now kind of revamped, put it back in, and something really important, I think, and that's reputation. Looks like it's going to be coming in. So,
which is kind of interesting for me because I don't really see the place for it yet.
Well, the place for it is to stop people ramming you at Port Olisar. I don't know what reputation is going to have. Like to these griefing things. I think that's what the reputation.
I don't think it's going to stop anybody from doing it because the reputation doesn't mean anything. On one hand,
depends. Well, if they put it in, it's going to have to mean something.
Yeah, so depending on their implementation of it, they might also allow like temporary rec or something like that to be built up or something like that. So also, it's really important to me that I want to be able to decide that I'm going to go out today and I'm going to be a dick and a bit of a pirate and I'm going to go around the comm relays and I try and switch them off and blow up the Crusading security and that sort of stuff. And I want a reputation to make me an outlaw so players can target me on site, that I can be an outlaw for a day. Great. I want something totally separate if I'm ramming people in Port Olisar. That needs to be a totally different form of reputation because that's not the same as I'm playing the game to add flavor and do my own thing. That's I'm being a dick. If you want to be a dick, well, I mean, just get everyone's consent.
I mean, listen, it's your prerogative to be a dick, and it's up to, if you want to be, you can be, as long as the game allows you to. It's there. It's just up to the developers to decide. Are we going to keep? Are we going to allow this? Or it's just up to them how they're going to deal with it, and we hope that they deal with it in a good way. I mean, who knows? And maybe this, however they implement the reputation system, might deal with it. It might not. It's just good to know that they have it on their mind. But at the same time, for me personally, it bothers me that people continue to do stuff that is annoying and frustrating, and that causes CIG to say, oh shit, we need to put in a reputation system now, when that may have been a priority further down the line. So now that took development time away from something that we could have had in this patch to put in the reputation system.
Really that important, to be honest, right? Like for me, the whole way that I see the reputation system is whether you attack a Vandal or you attack one of the security guys.
Yes,
and that's the only way I see the reputation doing it. I don't see the or maybe killing other people, but how you kill those other people or how you do that, I don't think is going to be in place. I mean, we don't have the life pods yet, so you can't be going and shooting and killing life pods. So there's no differentiation there. That. There's no
and that's in the gameplay. Like they want you to have the ability to do that, and that's being a dick, but that's not griefing.
I'd quite like them to have to prevent griefing. My suggestion would be add a respawn timer on so that you can only respawn ships every so often. You need a way of not penalising the person that's been rammed, though, because if the person gets rammed, it would be like, well, why am I being penalised as well? So there needs to be a way around that. But
then they will continue to do that, right?
Yeah,
if people don't care about their own reputation and know that they can ruin other people's reputation, then they'll do that.
Just as a prevention method, just some form of you can't spawn any ships in for another 30 seconds or a minute or whatever.
Yeah, it's just a matter of tracking that somehow properly. But yeah.
Yeah.
What ships do you guys think we're going to see? I mean, we've kind of discussed this before, but we're going to get that hangar-ready ship and a flyable ship.
Hangar-ready ship.
Do we think Starfarer?
I personally
don't think so.
Another one. So we're thinking of the Starfarer and probably the Reliance? Is that what we're thinking?
I don't think either
of those either. I think we're going to see the Xi'an Scout and we're going to see the Saber as flyable.
Saber's flyable.
Think. Yeah.
Saber's flyable as well, definitely.
And the Xi'an
because
Scout
Sandy on RTV made like these weird comments about the Saber, and they looked at her funny, and it just seemed like she was like dropping a hint.
Yeah. So I agree. I'm almost certain that it's going to be Saber flight ready, but I think that it's going to be the Starfarer and Reliant hangar ready would be my gut feeling. Although it could very easily also be the Scout.
I know. For me, they've been talking about the Scout like crazy, and they just showed 3 different like paint jobs last week. Like it looks like they're just like messing around with it at this point, and they're like, all right, we're gonna drop it in the next patch. Like it's kind of ready to go. And the thing is like in the last update, I didn't hear anything about the Scout.
I just feel that.
Hearing so much about it, it's probably done.
The Reliance seems further on to me from my interpretation of stats and data and stuff.
I disagree. I feel like the Xi'an Scout. Now, it would be awesome if the Starfarer, the Scout, and the Reliant, because I feel they're all fairly close.
That they can
all 3 be in, and they're just, they want it to be a little bit of a surprise. Be like, we got you.
Like they know for sure these 2 are ready right now, but maybe they can get the other ones ready in time, type of deal.
Yeah, well, we don't 100% know, obviously, but
no, we don't know anything. We're just
all
guessing.
of those ships look very likely. So
yes,
I would love to see the Starfarer in.
Yeah,
would love to see it.
It's just so big.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
It's just so big, and then with the Starfarer has to come the hangar upgrade. So it's like not just the ship; it's the hangar too, right? Yeah. So with these other ones, it's just kind of probably easier to push them, and then it's just So I think it's going to be a little while. But moving on from that is something we've been hearing about a lot, and that is the shield and components, like component system, right? So Matt Sherman's still working on the component system, and Calyx Renault is working on upgrading the shields to have like more interesting gameplay and new shield components we've heard. So kind of like we've heard, okay, they're working on it. It seems like it's really close. Who knows? But where I kind of want to go with this discussion is with specifically the Vanguard, there's this situation where you can still put like 5 shields on your Vanguard and they're all like super powered because they upgraded them, right? So when I was playing in Arena Commander, I was fighting against one of these Vanguards and they're really hard to kill, but it made for really a fun dogfight. It was a long dogfight. Now, my question is to you guys about this, and kind of where I want to go with this discussion is, do you think when they're in with the devs and especially the designers, when they're designing the time to kill, that they're basing it on stock weapons? Because when people go into Arena Commander and put in these beastly loadouts, they're killing people just as fast as we always did before they raised the time to kill. Right? Because with them raising the time to kill, they still buff the weapons too. So now people are putting in these crazy loadouts and killing you in 2 seconds anyway. So the time to kill is irrelevant.
The issue with the weapons is that obviously they don't come up with meta builds. That is a crowdsourced thing. Someone will go, well, these weapons work really well together, and rip apart everything because either they pass through shields or because they fire really rapidly or because they do this type of damage.
Based on the stats that they put in, and it's the simple stat of DPS, which they all know what it is. They should, if they're designing it, and the speed of the weapons, right? Let me take this really high speed weapon, or let me take this X speed weapon.
Or high range.
Or whatever, and match them together. And let me take the 2 highest DPS ones that match together, and let me fly with those.
Do see massive swings with every patch change. Now,
you're
always going to see this, but we see huge swings.
The flavor of the month. Yeah.
But it's like they're trying to test exactly the flavor of the month. It's like they're trying
And
to
they've
test
always been doing
certain
that.
things out, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they genuinely want people to lean towards certain weapons for some reason because
So
they
do
want
you-
more stats on them. Or...
Okay, well that makes sense. Now with that, with especially the shield thing, I know Calyx basically was what he was doing with the shields is not necessarily redesigning them yet, but he was gathering information on how shields react to certain weapons and all sorts of stuff like that, so he can better handle the shields, right? So do you think that maybe that's what they were trying to do with these ballistic weapons against shields? How shields handle ballistic weapons right now and how maybe they can do it better in the future? I mean, maybe that's kind of what I'm thinking now that you mentioned that.
I mean, yeah, so that they'll be grabbing data on all sorts of random stuff that will be really hard for us to work out.
Yeah.
But there's an issue with us discussing this sort of thing at the moment. It's because, I mean, this will get really polished much closer to them trying to make it competitive. At the moment,
Yeah.
the fact
Yeah.
we're getting gameplay out of it,
Things
isn't
that
really-
work is important. Having balance isn't really
Yeah,
super important
exactly.
right now.
There-
And
there
I,
is no
that's something that I keep
balance.
saying. No, so
I'm not
something that
concerned
I
about
keep saying
balance.
is, you know, your polishing, your optimization, and your balancing are going to come after all the features are in.
That
Right,
that's
that's-
fine, but
So
at the
one of
same time, go ahead, Board.
Well, one of the cool things that I found was that going into Holo Explore, that alternative to the Holo table, I put in the Saber to have a look at it, and it's got 4 separate shields and 3 separate power plants.
Yeah, that's. I think that is the first ship that was built with this
With that.
component system in mind, right? So
Yeah.
if it comes on, they might rig it to make it work like the Vanguard right now.
So I actually think that all of the item system is done. The issue is getting all of the ships
To
up
work
to
with
spec
it.
with
Up
it.
to spec
Yeah.
with it, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
because
good-
there's so much change. And when this item system comes on, we're going to have a meta field day. I mean,
Oh,
not just for
yeah.
content, but
Yeah.
there's going to be so much stuff that's super unbalanced. You're going to see like what that Aurora AN is literally invincible and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We're
Yeah.
gonna have like, why is this ship entirely invincible? And it's just flying around, just shooting you with 2 lasers. Pew, pew, like an, yeah, oh,
Yeah, and it's
insane.
like it doesn't matter how many people shoot.
He doesn't
it
even
or
fly; he
whatever.
just stands there.
It can
He
just sit
turns.
there and just yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
other
can
cool
see
stuff
something like that.
I was finding with it is that with Holo Explorer again, you can rip out the audio from ships and put them into other ships. So I have my Super Hornet with the Aegis Dynamics cockpit sounds.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really random,
awesome.
and that's functionality is already in there. So
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff is super modular already.
We just
and
don't
I think-
see it.
Yeah, we just or at least don't appreciate it
Mm-hmm.
because it is restrictive at the moment. But this item system is massive, and will affect the game so significantly. As well as people's choices. This is going to be where we have to actually make conscious decisions about weapons loadouts because we don't want something that's going to drain too much energy. We don't want something that's going to make us obvious on people's scanners. Stuff like
I
that.
can't
It's going
wait for that gameplay.
no,
Right?
it's like what I want from start. At the moment, it's a cool arcade dogfighter, and it is.
Yeah.
It's fun as but this with actual decisions over loadouts going, well, yeah, I do want this meta loadout, but I can't sustain it. My shields can't be as powerful because of it. This, and that.
You have to figure out your power systems, and then like actually diverting powers is going to mean something. Because right now,
Yes.
diverting power means nothing.
It's really important to me that they do something proper with missiles as well. So I want people with really high signals for IR and cross section and EM to be hit by missiles really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
people
as
with
they
low
should.
But it's at the moment people just can just go "Meow," and just fly away from them.
Yeah.
You avoid all of the missiles just by moving normally. Sorry,
Well,
Mark,
like a couple weeks ago, they wanted to talk about, or they talked about, improving missiles and what they're going to do about it. But I guess the only thing that I wanted to spark out of this conversation, really, and we went all over the place, which was awesome, was I just want a higher time to kill. It's driving me nuts. Like let's base the time to kill right now on, and this is something simple. This doesn't take much effort on not stock weapons, but on a higher average, because maybe they're just saying, okay, well, the stock Hornet, the time to kill is X, so you know what? Let's put the health here. or on this ship, let's put the health there, and instead just say,
I think we're gonna
people are
have
using
to
these
see
crazy
an
builds. Let's
increase
raise the health.
anyways. We're gonna have to see an increase anyways, especially with the multi-crew ships. Especially if they want us to be able to run around and repair stuff on the fly and like get in, or go into like life pods and stuff and be able to eject it. Like right now, that's not happening.
What's the right
point.
now? What is the point exactly? What is the point of diverting your shield, like pushing the power to your rear shields after it's been knocked out, when there's no chance that it's going to come back online before you're dead?
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
None.
In my constellation, I've seen a Vanguard. I immediately run towards my life pods before the battle starts because I know because I know I can get out if I run now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that sort of stuff, especially with the multi-crew ships, they need a massive health improvement because their agility is what that gets them owned. You want to be able to be fighting a Super Hornet or a group of Super Hornets for quite a while because. If you get a lucky couple of hits, although your turret gunners are really good, you're gonna basically be able to chase off the Super Hornets. It's unlikely you're gonna kill them because they have the ability to go, well, we're disengaging.
Yeah.
See you later, big ship. So the big ship is at a massive disadvantage with agility and being able to chase, but that's what it should be anyway. So they do need to make it so that those big ships can compete. And they need a lot more health, a lot more. I'm talking like at least ×5 health.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that's where they're going. I think they realized that they put them in, and they were like, "Yeah, we can fix this." But another thing that's going on is in Texas and at Imaginarium, they're getting prepared for their next mocap shoot, which is going to involve drug deals, gone good and bad, as well as prison animations. So
animations confirmed.
So animations inside a prison, but also I'm thinking like handcuffing and things like that, maybe for bounty hunting. But they're also trying to fix the medical ones that they did because everyone is just super sick and nobody's just kind of hanging out. But what I want to ask is, how much time and how much more fun do you think we're going to have in these landing zones once we have NPCs to interact with and they're doing all these things? We can just walk around. And which type of NPC are you going to interact with first, do you think?
Well, it's just like anything else, right? It's going to start to feel more like a living place. It's going to feel more like there's things going on instead of random people.
Do you think you just
smash
hang out?
Buggies over or something? I could see people hanging out.
I feel like I could just hang out there.
I'm not that kind of player, but I know there are players out there like that.
I'm that kind of player.
That just want to go and hang out in WTFOQQ and and just want to chill and hang out at the bar and stuff like that. That might be cool for the beginning of a stream while I'm talking to everybody. Be like, hey guys, meet me at Hangar, whatever the bar is. So
what would the first NPC that you think you talk to? I'm going straight for the drugs.
Are there no strippers?
Yeah.
Not yet. Not that we know of. They haven't mentioned it.
I like it. So drugs, alcohol, and sex. Got it covered. We're good, guys.
We got it covered. We're good.
We're good. We know our content.
My escapism, because I'm a proper gamer, and by a proper gamer what I mean is I get fat, eat by my computer, and trim my beard by my computer. It's all done in a single station.
You trim your beard by your computer?
Yeah.
Hang on. I found a picture of BoredGamer that I'd like to share with everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.
So it'll be a while for me to see it, but thanks.
No, so if you could just, so if you just let your hair grow a little bit, and this is pretty much it. You need glasses.
Is it the caveman? Is it the caveman one?
Jesus, that does not look like him.
Wow. Thanks. No, it's not.
That's the WoW player from South Park.
That's what I'm working towards.
Bathroom.
Yeah. That's not that guy, but
he's living the dream.
He is living the dream.
That's what we're all gonna look like once Star Citizen releases. Actually, that's just actually a picture of all of us.
Yeah.
It's me with the glasses. Bored with no hair and Source is just going to get really fat.
What was I
It was
I
a
talking
combination
about?
of the three of us.
I'm a proper gamer. Oh yeah, so obviously my escapism is to pretend that I'm good with drugs, partying, and sex, and I can only do that in a computer game.
Yeah.
Yay! I'm
That's
so
true.
cool. Look at me.
We need a Kenny, is all I'm saying. Because I just found us.
I can imagine Clifford.
Oh yeah, okay, Clifford. Yeah,
Clifford is Kenny.
Clifford will be Kenny. There you go. And I'm sure you'll see that in a second.
No, but,
Speaking of Clifford, guys,
Ooh.
it's Clifford's birthday.
Oh, it is Clifford's birthday.
So
It
happy
is,
birthday,
isn't it?
Clifford.
Clifford,
Watch,
aka
like-
Miku, who's been like
Like
super awesome for the entire community. Has spent way too much money on Star Citizen.
And he's been really good
He's
to,
just
to
an
all
awesome
of us.
dude.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, super cool guy. But yeah, so make sure you wish Clifford a happy birthday if you see him. I think he's in the chat.
Hey Clifford, happy birthday!
Yes, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday from the Great Canada.
But moving on with the news is they kind of got the buying stuff down, and now they're kind of looking at reviewing selling, and they have buying, and I'm assuming that they probably have selling as well in internal testing, which means once their internal testing's done, then it'll be pushed into a build to us. I don't know if that's going to be one of the things that are in 2.2. It doesn't feel like it is,
No.
but probably it kind of feels like a 2.3 kind of thing. And with that, selling is huge, man, because if they have selling, they're going to have items for us to sell, right? So that's where that cargo stuff comes in. That's where inventory comes in. They mentioned also in Foundry 42 that they're working on a UI for the inventory system, and they mentioned having inventory not only on ourselves but in our hangars and in our ships.
In our ships and stuff.
So
as
like
well.
that's really, really exciting. Like, what do you guys think?
Wait for pirates to drop loot. When
Yes,
pirates start to drop loot, that's a great way for people like Saurus to then go, well, there's a reason for me to engage other players to try and rob their stuff.
Yeah.
And that adds proper rich gameplay for people.
Yeah.
Because then they feel that, it's like, do I go back
It's like,
now
how
with
much
my
shit
loot?
can I collect before I
Yeah.
go? Like, what makes the most sense? How many people do I kill on average before I go and sell this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
because it's a risk. It's going to be a massive risk if you're collecting it for like hours and hours, and then a group of pirates come up and go, "Lol, my
Yeah.
stuff."
Yep. And I'm just like, that's the one thing that's going to suck about global chat. It's going to be like, I just got killed with all this loot by this guy at this comrade.
People
Go
will
get
be
him.
saying,
And it's
see
just
that
gonna be like,
smile on your face? That smile on the face won't be there, though.
yeah.
People are going to be angry.
Yeah. People are going to be pissed. But
I
like,
don't
you're just going to
know.
hear that Q drive jump into all
Yeah.
in that area so fast.
So at the moment, for me, I don't really. Occasionally, I get annoyed and stressed, obviously, but that's more of like, I was trying to do something.
Yeah.
But at the moment, people should be practicing how the game works and the
Yes.
mechanics. If you die, that is good knowledge for you. You learn much more by your defeats, in my opinion.
Of course.
So yeah,
The thing for
learning
me
the best time to run away and stuff is
Is
great.
if my ship is getting continually smashed into before I can even get into it, or while I'm getting into it, and killing me over and over again without there's no way around that, especially if somebody's targeting you. Now, this is definitely not a widespread problem. This is a very focused problem on my channel, but it makes it difficult, and that's where I don't necessarily get mad. It can be a little frustrating. I understand why they do it.
It's fun for them, I
It's
guess,
fun for them, and they get to see like someone react or whatever. But it's that's
Yeah.
It's
Now,
kind of a pain in the ass.
are you guys ready for this? This week, there was a lot of hollow table talk.
Yep.
A lot of hollow table talk, which is awesome. A lot of talk about how bad it is currently and how much we hate it. But Foundry 42 talked about their initial mock-ups of the new hollow table, and Zane is working on that. And some other guys, but like obviously Zane was a name that popped out to me because we know him, because we've seen him and stuff like that. But a lot of it was, they took our feedback and they're using it, and the thing is, they want the holotable in Crusader so we can customize our ships. Now, it's my understanding that the holotable was just a placeholder until our Moby glasses worked. We have Moby glasses.
Yeah, that's what I understood as well. Like, that's my ideal holotable. I see you have the question there is like, Moby glass. That's the whole point of it. It's like your smartphone or your tablet that can just do everything. This is how it should be. This is my tablet, by the way. Let me just... Moby glass,
you just...
Right? Without a screen. It's just a hollow thing and got the AR on your helmet. That, to me, is what it's intended for. That whole table can just leave my hangar. It doesn't need to be there anymore.
Exactly. So I don't know if this is another temp to get it into Crusader, because some functionality with the Moby glass isn't quite ready yet, or whatever. I don't know why. Maybe, like, again, they changed their minds on things. If they wanted to change their mind and they want to go to a holotable system, I'm okay with that as long as it's not the one that we're using
as long as it's not shit.
Yeah, then I'm okay with it. But it's a matter of... I'm really looking forward, because if they're doing the initial mock-ups now, I hope to see them in like a sneak peek soon or something like that. I think that would be something really positive and really good for the community, because the people that do play this game a lot, that thing is brutal.
It's brutal.
So, yeah, I mean...
Step 1, don't be bad.
Yeah.
Step 2, be good.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the last things, we have another one that's like kind of breaking news that a lot of people might not know about, because it happened just a few hours ago. But before that is Foundry 42 still badass, the one in Germany. So Chris, Aaron, and Tony Z are out there, and they're doing their rounds, I guess, of all the offices and saying, this is what we want to see this year, and have a discussion about what's possible, I guess, like all those sorts of things. And they've made even more progress on procedural planets, and Chris and Aaron are just like giddy about it, and just like they were last time. So I think I mentioned this last week, but whenever we see that shit, I think it's going to blow our minds again. So yeah. But the last thing that's kind of breaking news, and I don't know if you guys know about this, but there was a ship meeting about a concept ship that's coming up soon, the Drake Monarch. And we found this out through Ben Lesnick's Twitter, which the first message was, hey, I'm in the Drake Monarch meeting, and I've mentioned maneuverability 10 times. So like, that's what he really wants.
He says, Dateline Drake Monarch kickoff meeting. I promise I've said maneuverability at least 10 times.
Yeah, so that's...
Although that being said...
Let's retweet
Drake
that for you guys.
Interplanetary have just added a group to the RSI forums called Buccaneers Series Discussion Group in the shipyard.
Well, that goes on to the next tweet, which he said something about corn. I don't know what the hell that means.
Oh, it's the Pirate Interceptor, like discount corn.
Yeah.
It's back to being a Buccaneer.
So they in the meeting, they decided to change the name from Monarch back to Buccaneer.
Bad. It's so bad.
I don't even get it.
Okay, so it's $1 for an ear of corn.
Okay.
So how is it like... discount corn.
Of an ear?
No, a buck.
So,
an ear of corn.
Yeah, Buccaneer.
I thought the idea was, the reason they were going to call it the Monarch was because there was going to be lots of them attached to caterpillars. Yeah. And they fly off like butterflies.
That's what I thought as well.
So that's what I thought they was going to do. So they probably are still going to do that, but everyone went, the Buccaneers a better name.
Yeah.
I was actuy I think I'd buy that for $1. Yeah, it's Kin Shadow. Yeah, I actually started to like the Monarch name more. I still like the Monarch name more.
I like
than
the idea
Buccaneer.
of Monarch coming out of the caterpillar.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what we're kind of thinking of it.
If they had done concept art with the Monarch and then lots of them coming off the caterpillar, I think people would have warmed up to the name. But people that wanted the Cutlass and don't really know what the Monarch's all about yet, but they wanted a combat Cutlass, they like the name Buccaneer more because it makes them sound cooler.
Yeah.
It does. It just sounds cooler.
Cutlass and Buccaneer. It just sounds more piratey. It makes sense for the company. But we now got some pretty awesome stuff for you guys. We have some interviews for you. The first one is with Star Citizen's director of PR, which is David Swofford, who was super kind to us, and we had a lot of interactions with before we went to Texas to have these interviews happen. So he was integral in all this and was really welcoming and was really awesome. So I just want to say thank you to him for that. And before we even go on,
yeah,
and then
I'm just setting this up with my other computer here. So
that being said, is David Swofford has just been tweeting me, telling me that I've misspelled Josh Kuhn's name, and apparently it is with a C and not a K. That's confusing me more because it's spelled all over the CIG websites with a K.
With a K.
So I think he might be trolling me. David Swofford, if you're trolling me, that's a hell of a troll because now I don't know how to spell.
Because we discussed this before, and I was like, I thought it was with a K also. So
yeah.
Who knows anymore?
Yeah, who knows? But he's a cool guy. So
he is. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you guys. If you guys want to mute your mics, we are going to be watching our interview with David Swofford. There we go. I'm WTFOSaurus, and I'm here with Twerk17 and Clifford aka Miku at CIG in Austin, Texas. We're sitting here with David Swofford. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We have a couple questions here for you. Our first question is, what does your day-to-day job look like?
Day-to-day job as the PR director or the communications director. Mostly it's sitting in front of the computer and answering emails and occasional phone calls or texts from the media. And my PR is in my title, but it's really media relations what I do, and that means that I communicate and deal directly with all the main media outlets that cover our industry, the PC gamers, the IGNs, GameSpots. I also deal with a lot of the same outlets, the big sort of media gaming outlets in Europe also. So it's not just the US, it's the UK, it's Germany, which is a very big market for us. So I'm dealing with a lot of the German magazines all the time. And because they're so far, they're 6 to 8 hours ahead of us, depending on what office I'm in. It's a long day. It starts early in the morning, just checking on things overnight. And then, when the day's done, I've had enough. It's time to go home. I sort of turn everything off and go. But it really, even then, it's checking things even in the evening. And so what I do on a daily basis, it's strictly just sitting in front of that computer, responding to emails and texting back and forth with people, and it's making sure that those media outlets have the assets and our stories whenever we're ready to deliver those. So it's all about relationships, keeping up with people, and just staying in touch with them. Okay.
what PR processes are unique with Cloud Imperium Games and Star Citizen compared to others?
Well, just like the game is unique because it's this very large crowd-funded game, it makes, I've been doing media relations in the games industry for about 20 years now. I started with Origin, and that's where I got to know Chris when we were doing Wing Commander 3. That was one of my first projects that I worked on with Chris. It's changed a lot, and crowdfunding adds just like it does for game development, and these guys are constantly making the game with sort of in a glass house where everybody can look in and see. In the traditional publishing style, people didn't get a chance to see the game until the very end of beta cycle. Right. Unless it was a very restricted alpha group that was helping us test. But now, and so it's totally different, and the media is the same way. They're getting a chance to look at this process in a very early stage. And so the most challenging thing I have is sort of educating the media about this, you need to approach this game differently, and I have people asking me for media accounts constantly, and I'm constantly saying, okay, you can have one, but understand this is, it's not reviewable. If you want to give your impressions, that's fine. But, it's once they kind of get that, they maybe have heard, oh, the Star Citizen game, what's that all about? It's people are playing it, so it must be ready to go. And as you guys know, it's we still have quite a bit to do on the game before it's sort of ready or commercially sort of launchable. So that's probably the biggest challenge, is just dealing with that, and that's how things have changed. In the old days, you just, when a product was ready to go out, you started a marketing and PR campaign about 6 months before, and it really was very light. And then as you got closer, you ramped up more and more and more. And it's now, as soon as we went out and started our crowdfund in October of 2012, the PR game was pretty much on. It was turned on, and the faucet was going pretty hard. So
It's right from the beginning.
That's really the big difference. It's a whole different paradigm. It's a whole different ball game. The cliches can I throw out there?
Yeah.
It's different. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's one for you, David.
All right.
What do you do to mitigate bad PR?
Oh boy. Well,
Like the elephant in the room, basically.
well, I think a lot of that just comes with understanding how to respond and when to respond. Sometimes you just have to watch and see what people are saying. There are definitely times I'm very, and there's a lot of tradition, and I do things as sort of more of a traditional way, because I went to school to be a journalist and was a journalist for 15 years, and then got into the PR business. And so I try to treat people as professionally and just sort of straightforward with them. Sometimes it's just getting in touch with people, letting them know privately that there are things that you said that are factually incorrect. Sometimes when people have opinions, you kind of let that slide. You just and there's a lot of people who have opinions out there.
A lot of opinions on
Yeah, and so everything is different. You just have to treat it. Sometimes you just let it go. It's better just to let something slide, and you just have to keep an eye on it. And there are times when you absolutely have to respond, and there are times when I call Chris and I say, Chris, we need to respond to this. It's time for you to sort of step up, and usually Chris is really good because he watches this too, and so he's very much aware of what's being spoken out there. So there's just a lot of different ways to handle it. Everything's different, and so you just kind of watch it, but you treat people professionally, and sometimes it's better just not to talk to them or respond than to say what's really on your mind, just like anything else in life.
Yeah, because I see it usually if a bad PR, anything in Star Citizen I've seen recently, it just literally ultimately gets buried, because then all of a sudden y'all release something really good and it all goes away.
Right. And, there's just a lot of misunderstanding about what Star Citizen is. And this kind of goes back to the other question about, what's different about what you're doing in PR as opposed to what you used to do. And really, right now, it's very much an educational thing with people out in the media, because a lot of them have, this industry has a lot of very young people who probably, who are out there, and because of the platforms that are available, everybody has an opinion. Back in the old days, you wrote for an outlet and you got trained and you were a journalist. And so there's a lot of education in what I do, and you have to treat that very carefully. You can't, when you look at what somebody writes, and you have to determine, okay, was that mean spirited? Were they really just after us personally, or did they just miss it? Were they just not well informed? And sometimes it's very much the latter, and you have to just sort of take those things, call people up, get in touch with them, and say, hey, let me just map this out for you. And I'm going to be really nice about it. But in the future, pick up the phone or call me so we can give you a quote, or we can follow up with you. Don't just throw something out there based on something you read on the internet. I'm available. That's my job. Get in touch with me, and let me go track down a quote if I can't do it myself, and set you straight. And so, it's everybody's got a platform, but you have to be very careful, because, some people are in it for the wrong reasons, and you just try to you try to let those people just, hopefully, they'll have their little area where they can sort of espouse what they believe, and you just let them go. And most of the time, the rest of the media looks at that and determines, okay, that's not worthy of me picking up. So, but everything's different. You just kind of have to play by ear, and that's what makes my job interesting, is because there's always something different, and you're always dealing with people, on a regular basis, and and it's, to kind of extend what I started off with, it's not just the gaming magazines now. We've got, major outlets like the New York Times and some of the major dailies and magazines who our industry is big enough. And when you have a company that's raised $100 million, that suddenly becomes a story out beyond the gaming industry. And so that's also a lot of the mainstream press is something that I'm dealing with regularly also. And so that's a bit of an education too. Even though those people are writing for a big publication, they still need to understand why this is different than maybe what they've seen in, with a traditional box game or something.
Do you find yourself educating people on just in general what crowdfunding is?
Oh, yeah.
Like this? I think you'd have to.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We are such an outlier, for crowdfunding, and with that sort of, us being at the stage that we're at, there's a lot of disbelief and a misunderstanding of how we're using our funds, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys understand it pretty well, but a lot of people don't, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just getting ahead of that and making sure that they do understand, because it's hard to believe that we're where we are, but we're making this gigantic game that's going to take a lot of resources, and a lot of those funds are, well, most of it, if not all, are going to making this incredible AAA level game, and sort of multiple games in one. So yeah, it's the crowdfunding thing is different too. That's a whole sort of different area that you gotta constantly make sure that they understand what that's all about.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, David, for hanging out and answering some of our questions with us.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you guys coming out. It's I don't get in front of the camera that often because I've never thought that my job is to be in front. But a lot of people don't understand really what's this Swofford guy. What does he do? And so it's always a pleasure to get out there and say, well, this is what my daily routine is, and this is what I do. So I'm a very approachable guy, so if anyone ever has any questions, you can usually find me by emailing me. The email's on the internet on our site. So I appreciate you guys coming down. Enjoyed it.
Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it very much.
You bet.
Our next video we have here for you guys is with Captain Zyloh himself, aka Tyler Witkin. Yeah, okay, just making sure that works. And yeah, this is once again done with myself, Clifford, and Torque17, and we hope you enjoy it.
That interview was a poor BoredGamer UK.
Hello, I'm Clifford, aka Miku, with WTFOSaurus, Torque17, and we are here at SIG with Tyler, aka Zyloh, from QA. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fantastic. It's an exciting week, getting to hang out with a lot of backers, thanks to PAX South. So thank you guys for coming. This is fun.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, very much appreciated.
Okay, well, I got a question for you. Can you describe what you do on a day-to-day basis and anything you may be currently working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So QA in Austin is very dynamic. We never really know what to expect coming in, just because there's so many moving parts to this project. But really the foundation of it is getting daily builds. We get a few a day, and just going through them, making sure everything's okay. Basically, doing something called regression testing, which is verifying that the fixes that the developers checked in on the build the previous day, which are now in our new build, that they're actually fixed. And then once they're fixed, then we close those out and mark them as complete. A lot of special requests from developers, like if there's any new functionality coming online that the developers like, I want to know how this is going to affect all these other aspects of the game, and so can you dive into this feature and see if it ripples out, if it causes any other bugs somewhere else, and so a lot of stuff like that. I do a lot of the like marketing screenshots and stuff for monthly reports and stuff like that. But it's different all the time.
Okay.
Awesome. I have a question for you, and this is something that I hear from my community a lot, is what can us as the backers do to help out QA? Because obviously this is something that, we're testing it as you're putting it out and everything. So what can we do for you guys to make this, to help you better?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Honestly, it's been so refreshing and honestly mind-blowing how involved and supportive everybody's been already. Just with the issue council coming online, there's so many different outlets. The amount of posts we have coming through on our forums. I'm supposed to hit the table. The amount of posts we have coming in on our forums. The amount of posts on Reddit and all the other websites. We have so much. So honestly, it's just maintain that momentum because it really feels like we're all doing this project. We're all making it like together. So it's really.
Is there anything, like any one specific thing that you would say, okay, put your laser focus on this, whether that be issue council or making posts about things or just putting content out there or anything?
I guess like feature specific, no, just because so much stuff's coming online all the time that's different.
Right.
But I guess it's a best practice for QA, and essentially that's what you're doing as a tester is just details. The more details, the better. It never hurts to have an extra line in your reproduction steps. Like on the issue council, you get to choose like go here, go there, and then this breaks. The more steps you add to that, the better it is. Some bugs can be really difficult to reproduce, and so the more information you provide us, the easier it is for us to address those issues and get them fixed quicker.
Definitely. Awesome.
I got one for you. Can you describe some of the features maybe that are coming up in the party system that we've been talking about?
That's something that's been like a hot topic. I'm sure that you guys have seen amongst the community.
Ready.
People want to play together.
Yeah. So ready.
We're currently testing some party change improvements, and of course it's an iterative process, so it'll continue to grow over time. But just a few tidbits, because it could continue to evolve, and I don't want to like make it concrete, but just the fact that if you join a party with your friends, before you enter, for example, Crusader, right. That the server will save room for your friends, so that way you can group together. And then additionally, if you're in a party, let's say with 8 people, and then the server that you would normally have joined only has like 4 slots, it'll basically skip over that server, or that instance rather,
right?
And it'll spin up a new one for you. So essentially, it'll be a lot easier to be able to play with your friends. So. Super exciting.
Yeah.
From our perspective, honestly, that is going to help out so much because right now we can get those people in.
Yeah.
Kind of here and there. I know we've played together before. I know like I've played with Twerk or Clifford or whatever.
Yeah.
But being able to start with a group and not have to worry about like maybe some people only have like an hour or 2 hours to play, and then that gets those people in right away to be able to test and play and
it's way better than playing the load screen roulette where you're like you leave, you enter, you leave, you
exactly
enter. Like, are we in the same instance?
Yeah.
So it's a huge win. And then there's been a lot of people that have been talking about how they want to like meet up with their organizations and like let's have a meeting at whatever station or let's do some like some test flights and formation training and stuff, and so this will hopefully open that up. So
it creates new gameplay when you can be with your friends.
Absolutely.
So we have the gameplay that's in there in the functionality, but when you're with your friends, things just tend to happen, and it can be a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what I'll look into because me, Domo, we've talked about it, that even if there's content that's coming down the pipeline, like way down, this will give us as backers the opportunity to create our own content within the game, because like I've always talked to WTFOSaurus that he likes doing pirate things. Well, I can play with my friends on a constellation like we're traders, and we're going to be out here in the asteroid build. They're going to try and attack us, and then the other team can try and defend us.
Totally. You can organize stuff like that. And it caters to multi-crew gameplay as well, just because, right now the extent of multi-crew is, meeting up with strangers on Port Olisar via the chat channel, which can be really fun.
Yeah.
It can also be you get a guy who just runs on your ship and is messing around, steals your ship, shoots you as soon as you land.
Start shooting the ship on the inside,
yeah,
see if you can blow it up.
It definitely will help structuring that type of gameplay. And as you guys have already seen from like the Benny missions, people like to create gameplay, and so yeah, that should help.
When will we see Witch Glitch again?
Witch Glitch, I would love to do that some more. We had a blast with that. We also have a piggy bank filled with bugs. The reason that those stopped coming as frequently was just because things have gotten crazy. We've been ramping up. I mean, you can tell already as our ship pipeline has become better and ships have been coming online faster. That means that there's more ships to test for QA. Right. And then the ships that are already out and coming online, there's other ships that are that are still being developed that we're also testing. And so there's a lot of stuff on the back end. And on top of that, I mean, the end of last year with the huge push for 2.0 and Crusader, you take like the amount of gameplay that we had to test for QA, and we had it under control, and then they're like, all right, now Crusader's introduced, and things just got so much bigger. And because we're ramping up QA in Austin because the game's growing, and so we're starting to get to a place where we're feeling more caught up and we're able to do stuff like that. So maybe they'll come back, but.
Well, we'd love to see them for sure.
Yeah, no, they're so fun.
They're so fun to watch. I mean,
yeah.
Now, I do have a personal question to ask you, is that what really got you into QA, that you want to test games? I mean, Star Citizen in general, what kind of drawed you in to want to do that?
That's a good question. I mean, I've always been a gamer my whole life. So just being able to work with games is just something I always thought I wanted to do. I started at Blizzard in customer support, which was cool, but still not like where I wanted to be. And so it wasn't. I was there for 5 years, and it wasn't just the aspiration to move into QA that brought me to CIG as much as the aspiration to work on a project like this. And so I got really comfortable at Blizzard. Everything was going really great, and I was moving up the ranks there. And then this opportunity came, and it's just like, this game is awesome. So that's really where I am now. Yeah. It's really cool. It's this company is really good at utilizing all of its resources and strengths and stuff. And so the QA here is really unique to the industry because we get the opportunity to do a lot of things that QA normally doesn't do. And so it's just been super rewarding. And that's really it. It's the best job I've ever had.
Nice.
Awesome.
I know that like a lot of you guys are starting to get into your own in QA in your own specialization, sort of.
Yeah.
Do you interact with all the other QA in LA and in the UK as well? And how does that work with the different time zones and everything?
Yes, we have a really unique system that we have set up. Basically, like I said, CIG utilizes people's strengths. We have a specialist system set up in QA to where everybody kind of owns a certain aspect of the system. Yeah. We all test everything, but then there's like subject matter experts. So if you ever have a question about FPS, you know who to go to. If you ever have a question about ships, you know who to go to. And so, we interface with each other all the time. I mean, it's a super collaborative, cooperative environment, especially for bugs that require like a group, we have to fill a server or whatever. We also adhere to the follow the sun methodology where the UK gets a build while we're sleeping and they test that. And then if they don't finish their test case, we have handoffs. And so they'll send a handoff and be like, here's what we did today, here's what still needs to be completed. So we get in at the day and we have the build that the UK had already been working on, and then plus potentially an additional one. And, we'll either start on the newer one or we'll pick up where they left off. Nice. And then at the end of our day, we do the same thing. We have a daily handoff for like, hey, UK, here's what we worked on, here's what, we didn't get to finish. Can you pick this up? And so it's this cycle, and it's super cool. And everyone in the UK is awesome. We just had some guys in town recently. And then, we're hiring in Frankfurt and LA right now. And so our QA is growing. So it's super exciting.
Yeah. And do you think since you've been doing it so long now, passing the back and forth, that it's smooth and it's comfortable and you guys are all
totally. We're getting
on the same page?
Yeah, we're getting the process down. And we have regular sync meetings.
Nice.
And there's the leads meeting where the leads from all the various studios meet and talk about best practices, or how can we unify what we do and which tools we use. And so it's been really cool. It's also it's kind of like weird to wrap your head around that. Like I go to sleep and someone's still doing what I was doing, and then I wake up and then they go to sleep, and it's really cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us.
Yeah.
Very, very much appreciated.
Oh yeah, that's super fun. Thank you guys so much for coming, and
Of course.
I'm sure I'm going to see you guys this weekend at PAX.
Oh, you better believe it.
Yeah. Anyways, cool. Well, thanks.
And we're back. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed that interview with Captain Zyloh, who happens to be in the channel right now. So make sure you say hello to him.
I
He
think
didn't pop
Swofford
in
as
until
well.
his segment came up either. I think he was waiting.
He was lurking, waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting
He
to
just
see.
wanted to see
Yeah, he
to see
just-
himself. Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. But that was really fun. So I enjoyed those, doing those a lot, and it was a good time. So thank you for having us, Zyloh, too. Zyloh did our tour and was super awesome. But
Yeah, it was really awesome.
I like to think that we directly were impacting the fact that Witch Glitch is now very active on the
Right?
Star Citizen YouTube page and was recently on ATV. I think, we had Disco Lando, who writes the script for ATV, in the room while we were interviewing.
There's a script
Tyler.
for that?
Well, not really. You'll see in the Disco Lando interview that there's not really a script for it, but he was there, and I think we directly impacted your ATV. I think that's what happened. So yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much what we have for today, and we have all the videos edited, and we're gonna roll a couple out each week. And
That's right. So these ones you will be able to find on the Redacted YouTube channel. They should have gone live while we were watching them.
yeah, I don't know if they're in 1080p or not yet, but
Yeah,
they're
but
up there.
they're there. Yeah, it may take a little while for them to process into their proper resolutions, but
It's an 80p.
oh, there we
Nice.
go. We're golden.
Yeah,
We're golden. So you ! Redacted in chat. You should be subscribed to that channel anyways, right, guys?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna move on to some questions here. Let me grab these. If you have any, feel free to ask them with / question. That's where we pull all of our questions from. We take these questions, we put them into small little bite-sized videos, and we throw them up on the Redacted channel as well. So let's start with the first one.
It's good, good place to start.
Good place to start. Also, I have another question for you.
Well, before
And
we've even
we
started.
have another
the
question.
First one.
No, that's a inside joke in the biz.
Which you'll
that,
get it because we said it a
You'll
lot.
get it. You'll get it. Okay, so Cordova asks, has there been any official word on how cargo mass will affect maneuverability? It is likely that a fighter would need to drop cargo, fuel pods, etc. before entering a dogfight in order to maximize combat maneuverability. This is something they did mention previously, where
It's
they
in the
were
game.
like, it already is in the game, right? Where you remove your weapons and stuff for racing, you go faster. You're lighter.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get some better optimization and iteration.
But
of
it
that
is
the
in
future.
there. It is in
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is very noticeable right now. Is what
You
I'm
go-
saying.
For like an M50,
Yeah.
I can't take my shields off. There's some bug.
Yeah,
But-
I can't either.
Okay,
you can go from 275 to 290 and 390 to 410.
Yeah,
Use
I go
Hollow
405. You go 410.
I do
bullshit.
410.
I go
Use the
405.
Hollow Explorer program that I talked about earlier.
Oh, that's true. And then I can get my shields off.
Fixes
go.
so many issues as well. It's amazing.
But yeah, I mean,
But
it's
yeah,
fun.
we already know, like, even just moving around different things out of Kovalex, like the Benny's machine, or a chair, or a can, or whatever, you can see the different weight and how they react differently.
Yeah.
To you wanting to move them. So
I don't know if it affects. It's hard to feel the effects on maneuverability, right? But the
Not
increase
really.
in speed, like I don't feel a difference as far as like I don't know if I slide more, but you have to think like the increase in speed will get you boosting forward faster. So I guess
Yeah.
there is an increase in maneuverability in some way, but I don't slide more or less normally, I don't think, based on dropping.
I feel like I slide less when I have all of my stuff equipped on the M50 as opposed to when everything's off. I slide more,
Interesting.
which is
The
interesting.
official
I
word
guess you're
though
going
on
slow.
cargo mass is that more cargo mass, slower ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the official
right there.
word that we know at the moment, but we don't
that's
know
how it
exactly
works
how
now.
it's going to be implemented.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean more cargo mass, yeah, but I mean everything has mass. So you take mass off of your ship now, you take weapons off and everything.
At the
You
moment,
see a difference.
do our avatars, do our characters have mass? Because I don't think they do, but they might. So
I don't
if I
know.
put
Not
like
sure.
That I don't know.
if we cover a cutlass and loads of pilots, does it maneuver worse?
I don't.
It's
I
something
don't
to try.
think so. I don't think so because I've flown a Cutlass with 6 or 7 people in it, and that hasn't been the case. So I don't think so. Not right now, anyways. But yeah, in terms of mass, yeah, this is something they've talked about. This is something that's been brought up before, and is kind of implemented in the game already.
Yeah.
Well-
and I'm sure we'll get expanded on.
Once we have it implemented properly and also crew mass, we can start answering questions like how many humans does it take to stop a constellation?
Oh my god, imagine that. Imagine like
How many
if crew
boarding
mass is, like,
parties
really
does
a
it
thing.
take?
that'd be so
many-
cool.
I mean, hopefully when the little mini EVA system's out, that we can actually push or help ships move.
Yeah.
So that ship's been damaged. You're like,
Well, once
Twerk,
again, you
get
can do
out.
that now, but not in the way that you're saying. You can do it the same way you move a Benny's machine just by running into it.
I don't think a human can weigh enough. Like we're talking thousands
I'd like-
of kilos
I'd like
and
to
shit.
cable tie Twerk to like the wing of an M50 after it's lost one of
Yeah.
its thrusters, so we can use his EVA suit.
Yeah.
Press W now.
Oh
That'd be
man.
amazing.
Anyways, Cordova, thanks for the question.
Yes.
Our next question here is from Grizz Warmace. Chris Roberts calls you directly and pleads for your help. Okay. He's giving you complete creative control over redesigning the new holotable and all the team members you want. What do you do? I would push them in the
let's-
direction of the Moby-Glass.
Okay, well, for the sake of the question, let's assume that we have to make a hollow table. So it has to be like some kind of panel of sorts that you walk up to.
Yeah.
Mine would be 2D. Number one, 2D, gotta be 2D. And I think it has to zoom into, so like when you
Now
mouse
you're
over
making
a
it too
component.
difficult. Too difficult.
No.
Just have a bunch of drop downs on the side and just change the drop downs and you're done.
That's fine, but it's got to be Star Citizen. Like,
Yeah.
if so, when I wave over a component, I want it to zoom in on that component and have details on that
Oh,
component.
sure. If
and
you
then-
if you go over the component, maybe it highlights the component instead of the ship, and it'll give you all the stats of the component. But
Yeah, and
on the
you can
side,
easily
instead
pull
of
it off.
dragging and pulling shit off, no, none of that fucking dragging and pulling shit off. Drop down menu, just select drop down menu. If you want to empty, and then a list of parts that are compatible with
drag.
it that switch on it.
I want to drag.
No, well, you're
So-
broken. You're wrong.
So firstly, Chris, thanks for getting in touch. Really
Yeah.
good fan.
Yes,
Yeah.
we really appreciate it.
Huge fans.
So yeah, I'm glad you asked. Now I think much more clearly after a cocaine and stripper party. So let's spend some of that money on that. We'll take a team out, get everyone's head clear. But there's
Then we'll
there's
talk
two
about the hollow table.
implementations. There's two implementations I want. Similar to what Saurus said, I want a really simple drop-down menu. I want bring my Moby glass up, bam, and I want to be able to do everything with a really simple just integration. See a picture of my ship, and literally just click. I'm going to change that to that. I'm going to change that to that. Bam, bam, bam. Drop downs, boom. Really nice and simple. The other implementation I want is again with the Moby glass. I want to go up to my ship that's in the hangar. I want to be able to look at the weapon. I want it to be able to go, this is this weapon. And then again with the drop down menu, I just want to be able to select that weapon and change it. And then for the little droids or men to come along and change that weapon over. I want it in its most simplest form because that's all we need. And if they want to do something more complicated, that's great. Make a reason or a flare or a better hanger do something better. but have that super basic implementation there for players that want that, because it shouldn't take that much effort to trim it down to make it super simple, to make it spreadsheety almost. Should it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But
They want such like sexy things though that yes, those things would be good, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to be realistic in
It
what will
needs to be
probably
simple
happen.
and effective. I guess. I can see your eyes rolling back.
Yeah.
It's great having the super great stuff, having the super flary, like, oh, look, I look at my hollow table. Look, and I like the idea of even having the hollow table there as a really bad implementation of it that you can buy in the verse, because you could still have it. It's like an antique. You go, look at my flare. It's the crap hollow table.
Look at my flare.
Yeah, but I want the super basic implementation, and if they want to do a complicated one, let them, and let people buy it with UEC in game. Go, yeah, I want this cool, like, I get to drag and drop everything in a giant hollow room. Great, have that as a purchasable UEC item in game for people that want that. But the basic implementation needs to be available to everyone, because otherwise it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
My biggest thing though, I still want it to zoom in on each component. I think would be really cool. Would be a cool feature to have. So if you waved over something, it would go into it. But still,
Zoom in, Twerkelson.
I agree with the drop down and simpler functionality to switch between things though.
That Hollow Explore thing's got it right. It just gives you the stats that you need and allows you to change everything really quickly. And I quite like that. The only thing that is annoying with it is that you have to drag and drop even in Hollow Explore to remove an item. It needs to be as quick as possible. I mean, time is money. Yeah. And I'm a space...
Anyways, our next question from Eric Ate My Parrot asks, with player-owned stations being confirmed some time ago, what do you think the possible benefits of owning a station will be? Since we cannot claim space, I think that it will be hard just to own and support a space station. What do you think will be the primary purpose of ownable space stations will be besides storing your corporation ships and fighters? Well, there's part of it right there is like storing ships, fighters, equipment, things like that. Then on top of that, maybe they have special equipment there that you can use for maybe science, or you can use for decoding stuff, or whatever, exploration or something. It's pretty open. It depends on what the space station is. If it's a comm array, it might be a fancy like central comm array where you can control communications or intercept communications from. There's a lot of things like that, and the actual ownership of space stations aren't going to be like, oh, I put my flag in it and now this is ours and that's it. It's going to be more of a dynamic thing, where other people are going to be able to come over and be like, oh, you said this is your space station, but there's only 5 of you and there's 30 of us, so it's ours now. And so that'll be a thing, but it really depends on what the space station is. It may just be a layover point where you can go and get, maybe there's a repair dock on it, or maybe there's a place to refuel on it, or maybe it's just a place to hang out and just have some downtime.
Yeah, I don't like. For me, I don't remember ever hearing anything about space stations specifically. I always keep hearing about the factory nodes and not like a station. So like when I heard this question, the first thing I thought about was factory nodes. So we know we can't claim space, but you can own these nodes. I don't know if that's two totally different things.
Two completely different things.
Okay.
So this is like going to Security Post Korea and claiming
saying this is mine.
This is mine now.
So it's like a derelict sort of place that you don't go there and
maybe not
when
even
you come
derelict.
But
you can go there and take it over.
Yeah, what I'm thinking in my mind is like when I go there, it doesn't say Twerk 17's station.
Right.
Stay out.
Yeah.
Like it is just a station that's there and you're there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be really hard to manage that because you'd have to constantly be there.
Well, also it's odd because I don't know too much about that. I don't know too much about the space stations and how they're going to work. I thought they were just talking about it rather than being confirmed as well. But assuming that they are confirmed and everything fully, it's an odd thing because obviously there's going to be basically instance servers, at least mini instances stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be owned by everyone by the same people in every server if they're static stations, because they're not player built stations. They're player owned stations.
Right. Yeah, that's a little bit of a confusing part as well, because like you said, you know, you have those different instances, so it's like, well, how is that going to even work?
Yeah. So it has to be implemented well, or maybe as more of a, you can only hold them for a certain amount of time, small arena style. So like if you're holding them in this server, you're getting bonuses to loot or something while you're holding it or something. I don't know. If it's got a really simple arcadey hold value to it, then they might work. But as bases and stuff, I don't think they'll work. I don't know. We don't know how they're going to implement them properly. We just don't.
Yeah.
So I hope they do, though, because I love the idea of player-owned stations and player-built stations.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons they've put some effort of thought into it, is because a lot of people like the idea of owning their own space station and whatever. But yeah, we'll just have to sort of see how that plays out. Right now, it's still too early in the game to really say anything solid, I think, at this point. But I'm sure they'll give a reason. They can't, like, people aren't going to want to hold on to a station just because it's a station. You know, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like the average person, I guess. Yeah, you know, you'll have those fringe cases of people that'll be like, "Oh yeah, this will be fun for role playing," but someone who's like, you're gonna have to give them a reason. So
whoa, Saurus, you made role playing sound geeky there. Whoa, hold on.
Okay, so our next question is from Yoko Rose. What type of ship do you think the Buccaneer is, as RSI Forums has a sub-shipyard for it, and maybe the next ship up for sale? Well, they said it was going to be more of an interceptor, similar to the... Or more similar to the fighter that they described as the Cutlass. So I imagine it's going to be the same price point as well.
Things that they can share right now is that it's a single pilot craft with no interior, fast and manoeuvrable, under a pure racer in speed, but handles well at high speed, roughly the same size as a Sabre, pairs well with the Cutlass or Caterpillar as an escort fighter, and is extremely reliable, exceptionally ease of maintenance.
There you go. So
that's it.
It sounds like the fighter.
Yeah, it sounds like
of what they, because
what they
that's
originally...
that's what they said, right? They said, you know, they were playing around with this idea of doing the Buccaneer if people were interested in it, and this is sort of what they were going to do with it. So this is sort of come to fruition from that. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely be grabbing one. I don't know about you guys. If you're
no, just the
BoredGamer was like, no, get it out of my face.
It's the Corvette. That's the only other thing I want at the moment. Yeah. And I don't give a damn about these cool ships. I mean, screw 'em.
Any ship that becomes flyable, I'm going to buy for a little bit and melt and rotate them around. But I don't think it'll be part of my starting game rotation.
And I've got something that's already similar size to the Sabre. A Sabre.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my combat ship.
Yeah.
The Sabre,
Yeah.
my single-man combat ship. It's, yeah.
I'm going to try it. If I like it, I might end up keeping it. Like the Vanguard I really like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have a thing for Drake ships, so.
Yeah, obviously you'll be getting it.
Yeah. But yeah, Yokoros, thank you for the question. Our next one here is from Tritus. And he asks, I know some people have purchased mining ships like the Orion, and at launch those people will be able to begin mining very valuable materials, if they know where they are, possibly. Do you think that this will upset the balance of the game, since only those that have these specialty ships can acquire these materials so early on in the game's life can just upset the balance of the economy early on? No.
Oh, yeah, like, this is my thing right now. So, no, I don't think it will upset the balance. And the reason is, a ship like the Orion, one of them, number one, I think most ships are going to have some sort of module that's going to allow them to mine. It's just the Orion is what's going to debut mining. And then on top of that, a lot of the rarest materials they kind of described maybe being in really dense asteroid fields, and ships like the Orion will not be able to make it in there.
Well, you were about to say like mining drones, I expect as well, and
yes, but they have discussed like the Orion being huge, and sometimes it'll be a little tougher to get to some of the more lucrative places with a ship like the Orion.
Do we think there's going to be the ability to be able to harpoon asteroids and pull them out of the minefield?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Harpoon them?
I don't know if there's going to be a harpoon, but you could definitely be able to tractor beam
Move
them.
them, tractor them, blow them up, I would think.
So I mean, that's a way that
And not only
people
that,
working together
remember
can
that the asteroids are going to be
environment.
voxel based,
smash them to bits. Yeah.
right? So we'll be able to dig holes through them or blow them up or do whatever.
Hide in them.
Hide in them, exactly.
Every people.
I'm
Star
going to
Wars
become
style.
space hermit crab.
Good
Just
job.
move from
Oh my
asteroid
God.
to asteroid.
Screw that pirating thing.
It's actually such a good idea, right? And then you just throw some tractor beams on the inside of your ship or on the outside at the back, and you just hold
cable
on to the
ties.
thing. Yeah,
No.
cable ties.
Cable tie all the people you kill. Use the AVA suits. Bam. Just pushing that asteroid around. Thousands of dead people.
Yeah.
It's fucking. Oh my God.
There you
That'd be
go.
amazing.
The only thing I don't know is if there's actually going to be a tractor beam that's strong enough to push a full size asteroid around. I doubt it, but you never know.
Well, that's what I hope, that you can have harpoons or multiple tractor beams or some way of pushing those dense asteroids in the middle of the field out to the Orion.
Count Cogpox mentioned in the chat just now, there is that massive harpoon on the Mega Vandal Dreadnought thingy, the King ship. There's that huge harpoon at the bottom of
Yep,
it.
that's right.
It's
I-
actually a mining ship. You just figured it out.
Yep.
So
You
I
figured
want
the
to say,
Vandal out.
I want to say something briefly about that question. It's definitely not going to upset the balance of the economy. There's 9 NPCs to every one person.
That's a good
that
point.
literally will help normalize the economy in pretty much any situation. And it's also in the hands of CIG, so they can just go, screw you if they want to. They can work something out to lower the prices if someone's trying to exploit something. They'll be cleverly monitoring that. But also, those Orions, they're going to cost a lot to maintain. You're going to need multiple crew to get the best out of them. And you're very vulnerable to pirates. So you're going to need defense and stuff. When you start the game, people are not going to know how to operate these giant ships effectively. They're going to be so inefficient. There's going to be so many mistakes.
Very true,
Having
yeah.
them early
Very
on
vulnerable.
it might be a massive liability financially. Because you'll get your ship back eventually, because we don't know how long it's going to take to replace a ship that's got LTI. If it gets blown up immediately or it gets repeated to be blown up, it might get longer and longer and longer. But also, you're going to lose money still. I mean, you're still going to lose the equipment you had on it if it wasn't insured. You're going to lose your equipment. You're going to lose anything that wasn't insured.
Lose
and you're gonna
whatever
lose
you
time.
mind.
Well, yeah, exactly. So they're not going to be as super powerful as you think. Those ships are there to add flavor. You're going to need crew. You're going to need people to help. And if you look at it this way, you could have like 8 people running an Orion effectively, or you could have 8 small cheap miners all mining. Now that might work out more money efficient. So who knows? Who knows yet? We don't.
Our next question is from Terrible Username, and he says, H1Z1 was split into 2 separate games today. H1Z1 Just Survive and H1Z1 King of the Hill. This decision was announced on February 12th. Do you think that this was also partly caused by CIG's decision to split Star Citizen and Squadron 42, or was a random idea? Also, do you think that it will become common practice? I don't know. I don't think this has anything to do with Star Citizen or Squadron 42 at all. I don't even think they pay attention to each other.
Oh, I think they do. I think
might.
As
think
much
they
as
might.
as much as most people would think they do.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that they split because Star Citizen and Squadron 42 are splitting. How can we split our game? I don't think that's.
I would say that survival mode, the king, whatever mode we play to work. What is it
Just
called?
Survive or King of the Hill.
what's-
King of the Hill
what's
is Battle Royale now, I guess. We play Battle Royale.
So
Yeah.
that mode saved that game, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so that's the only reason that game's going on. So splitting it's probably quite sensible for them because they've got a product now which will make them money, and they can work on it and do some other moddy stuff with the other one. So for them, that was a smart move, in my opinion, because it potentially makes them more money. But it's got literally nothing to do with Star Citizen. I mean, they might be slightly following each other's campaigns because they're both relatively, well, Star Citizens are very high. They might be following each other, but it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Citizen said they were going to split a long, long time ago. So
Yeah. Basically, when
long
they
time.
announced that Squadron 42 and Star Citizen would be two would be two things.
Yeah, when
Always
Star
so.
Citizen actually became a thing because of crowdfunding, I think they said it was going to be two separate games,
Yeah.
right? So
So quick reminder, guys, if you have any questions, !question in chat. Our next question comes from NC Pokey. Do you think there will be some ongoing storylines playing out in real time in the persistent universe for players to interact with? For example, as the war with the Vanduul ebbs and flows, you may get jobs shipping supplies to the front lines as they shift, etc. I think it would make the universe feel much more alive. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
every MMO does this.
that is something we can say 100% definitely that we
Yeah.
know. They are going to
they've
be
even
modular
talked about
missions, and they're going to be affected by what's happening in game.
Even more granular than if there's a war with Vanduul. If Twerk 17 gets his Orion blown up by some pirate that rhymes with Momosaurus, then it's like, okay, well, to get a new one back, they need to make one. But to make one, they need the raw materials to make one, and they need the workers in a place to make one. And what happens if those raw materials are being stopped by a pirate somewhere, right? Like, so all of these things will affect everything. So there will be real jobs to actually go and do stuff. So yeah, like this is it's gonna feel very alive. And then on top of that, when you put in 90% NPCs that are always also doing all of this stuff as well, it just makes sure that there's always something going on, and there's always these jobs you can go and do, based on whatever you enjoy doing the most.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, like every MMO does story arcs, and like the Vanduul War is just our first story arc that we're going to start the game with. There's going to be all sorts of other things that are going to come into play that aren't involved with the war on another side of space with the Xi'an and with the Vanduul. There's a, there was a Cold War with the Xi'an. Maybe like 5 years down the road, something happens between the humans and the Xi'an, and there's some sort of story arc, and there's going to be all sorts of gameplay that goes along with that. MMOs do that all the time. So
It's going to be, some people are going to decide to live in Kurthak space or in Jan space or wherever. They're going to have an extremely different game compared to people that are living mostly in UEE space or in outlaw space or whatever. It's going to be, if you play your character and he survives a long time, when you change your character and when you try something else, it's going to be such a difference. And Star Citizen has the scope where you might have such a different gaming experience to someone else throughout your entire gaming career in Star Citizen. And I love that. I love the scope and the idea of that. And it's got that flavour, it's got that, they can really build those races out, they can really build the detail of the worlds out. And I'm really looking forward to stuff like that.
definitely.
Yeah. Our next question here is from Bite Marks, and it's kind of directed more towards BoredGamer, just because of the VR stuff. What are CIG's known plans with regards to virtual reality? Will the Vive and Oculus get equal attention, or is one preferred over the other? How long after Star Citizen release is it likely to come in?
So I'd expect it to be integrated before Star Citizen's release.
Yeah. Also.
Because they've got the CryEngine's just had an update to it a little while ago, and they've got the people there that know what they're doing with it. They plan to support all major VR headsets. We don't know if they're going to prefer any. I doubt they specifically prefer any, although the CryEngine might just generally work better with some of the APIs and backend and whatever of the certain headsets. So there's no plans to specifically support one more than another. They plan to support them all. But other than that, and other than I know they're gearing towards doing stuff with VR, they have got assets on it. I don't know anything more than that.
Yeah, there's really not much else to say. We almost definitely we are going to see virtual reality implementation before release. I think that'll definitely, especially with VR coming on as strong. Yeah, they're going to want us to test it. It's something a lot of people. It was one of the earliest stretch goals.
Yep.
Was virtual reality. It was at like 4 million or something like that, right? So this is something they want to work towards and make sure that's integrated in there. So thank you for your question. And our next one is from Tridus. Do you think that there will be heavy artillery that will be able to take out huge capital ships? Think nuke torpedoes that are in the Expanse. Or how about railguns? Giant big-ass railguns. Or giant big-ass harpoons. We know that both of those are in the game right now. We know that even for FPS characters, we're getting our own little miniature railguns that we can use to shoot down ships.
I think it's going to be more than just that they can take them out. I think that they're going to be required almost to take them out.
Yeah.
So we know that the Idris M has that rail cannon mount on its back, on its spine. And we know that the Javelin Destroyer is going to have big ass guns for destroying capital ships. Probably big torpedoes and stuff as well, all that. So yeah, there's going to be big capital destroying weapons, but I mean, they're going to be essential, and they're not going to be like one shot kill. It's going to be time to kill. It's going to be a big battle. There's also the possibility of splitting capital ships into effectively multiple sections that will still be fighting, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I hope they do that, where like the back end can just be blown off. There's no thrusters or anything, but the front is still good to go.
But they still got turrets on it.
Yeah.
How about there's still turrets on the back, and the guys that are in the turrets are still firing?
Yeah.
Right? That'd be amazing.
Or pretending to be dead until borders come close.
Yeah.
Stop firing when they come close.
Oh, there has to be an emote. Play dead. That's got to be an emote. Oh,
that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tridus, thanks for the question. But yeah, most definitely we're gonna see some crazy weaponry in there to deal with those larger ships. Our next question is from Viscount DMC. Why do you think they reduced the Merlin top speed from 240 to 210 when the description says Merlin is a fast maneuverable ship that packs a surprising punch, ideal for racing, local reconnaissance, and fast combat? And don't use the "it's an alpha" stock answer. All right.
We don't.
CIG typically tends to balance to the description, not away. What? Okay. So anyways, why is it 240 to 210? Because this is what matches with what the engines have in it. This is what matches with what the weight of the ship is and all this other stuff. They are continually balancing something. Speeds right now are dynamically calculated based on mass and power to weight ratio of engines and all of that other stuff as well, and all the components. If you want it to go faster, remove the weapons off of it. If you want it to, know that the fuel boost, so their afterburner fuel will run out and there's no way to refuel it. So once you're out of that's it.
Yeah, so that doesn't make it ideal for racing. So I guess the problem is they did a really bad job of describing the ship rather than balancing what it should be. Because what the Merlin really is a fighter for your constellation that's supposed to defend yourself, whereas the Archimedes might be more of the ideal racing ship, local reconnaissance.
I think it's more of, in my opinion, more of a case, or at least a little bit of a case, that it's been balanced poorly just in the latest patch. I mean, I'd expect it to be going at least 230. That's what I'd want it to go at stock, and I'm talking at stock. Because obviously we're going to be able to change engines, we're going to be able to tweak stuff, we're going to be able to make stuff a lot more racing modded, if you want to. But yeah, I think it's just been poorly balanced. That's all.
That's all. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of things are poorly balanced right now, to be honest. And I mean, this isn't the stock alpha answer, but it's alpha, man. Like the balance stuff isn't coming. The real balance stuff won't be coming for a while.
Look,
the guys who do the balance are designing other systems. Right?
I went through the effort of reterming it's an alpha to it's been balanced poorly, and you've just gone and blown that out of the water. Thanks, Soros.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But thank you for the question. Always appreciate it. Our next question is from King Gear Gaming. And he asks, have they said any information about buying Vandal ships for us to be able to fly? Well, we have two already, right? We had the Scythe and the Glaive, both limited ships. You can actually get access to the Glaive if you complete all 18 waves of Vandal Swarm, and then you can rent it for rec. I actually carry people through those at the beginning of every stream. So if you want to, if you're having issues getting through all the 18 waves, feel free to stop by my channel and ask for some assistance. I'm more than happy to help you out. But
Such a nice guy.
Those-
so Canadian.
those are 2 Vandal ships. Those are the only 2 that are flyable right now, either by NPCs or by players. And they are flyable by both NPCs and players. As we start to see more of the Vandal ships, or they release more of them for us to see them, I don't know if we're going to be able to fly them all. They've sort of hinted at maybe they would be interested in getting them in our hands, but
I think we're about to fly them all.
yeah,
I'm not sure if we're about to buy them all unless you're buying them off another player.
I don't know if all of them are going to be suited for human flight.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The whole lore behind everything is that the military or Asperia turned ships, Vandal ships, into human flyable ships, and it took effort.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that if you just find a Vandal that you're going to be able to pop into it and fly it. Unless they make some sort of change. I really hope you are too, but the way the lore is, it doesn't fit.
Well,
Yeah,
I like
well,
the idea of it flying around and it being a bit weird, like all of the HUD being in Vandal, all of the sounds being in Vandal, and it just being a bit confusing. I suppose that there may be controls that use feet for and stuff in Vandal ships, and Vandal are a lot bigger than us.
Yeah.
So you could have another pilot there just pushing the foot pedals.
Just holding and pushing foot pedals. It's kind of like it's kind of like having 2 people riding a bike, right? Like one guy steering, the other guy just doing one of these for the pedals.
They said you wouldn't have to wear Vandal armor, but I think that 2 Marines could probably wear it together and operate a Vandal ship.
If you like one of those horse costumes,
Yeah.
right? Where you're like, yeah, whatever.
That's what me and Twerk are coming to the next CitizenCon as a Vandal in the same suit. Twerk's the rear end. Twerk's the rear end.
Well, it's because I got the nicer rear end.
After having experience with sleeping in the same bed as Twerk, I will agree. Twerk is the rear end.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Next question.
Next question. This is our last one here from UFG Man. Will you guys be splitting your ships among 2 or more characters, or assigning them all to a single main character? I have a feeling splitting up the ships among characters will make us more flexible when going around the huge verse. Well, we might not have to do that. We might be able to allow other characters to be able to fly our ships. So I know for me, a lot of my ships are going to be going to the organization, right? There's only going to be a few ships that I'm going to keep for myself. The rest of the ships are going to go to the organization for when the organization needs them. We also know that they've said previously, I don't know if this is confirmed or not yet, but they have talked about allowing other players to use your ships or having different levels of access to your ships, right? So that means that they could fly them on their own. That means that they could maybe only access the shields or the power or the weapons or whatever. Diagnostics, or maybe only make repairs or whatever. And they're going to have those systems in for those jobs, right? So you can track people and do whatever.
I'm hoping that they allow you to allow other players to use your ships, but there's a extra insurance fee if they blow up the ship by accident. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So
maybe they have to buy their own insurance for it.
Oh, that would work as well, I suppose. Maybe.
I think.
Yeah. So we know that you're going to be able to give your ships to an organization. That's what I'm going to be doing with mine.
That's what they're planning to. Anyway.
The other thing too is you're going to be able to own more than one hangar, so you could have ships in different hangars across the universe, which would also make you more versatile as well.
Yeah, that's where I was going with my idea. Was it may stay on one main character, but I'm going to have ships in certain locations that are needed for certain roles that are near those locations. So maybe one system is really, really good for bounty hunting NPCs. So I'm going to have maybe my ship that happens to have some stasis pods in there, or a really popular mining field that has lots of rare material in there. I'm going to have my Orion near that one and travel around the I was going to say the world, but the universe to each one and go that way. That's kind of what my plan with my ships were. But I also plan to have just an Aurora on one character and start from the bottom and move up from there.
So I've literally already split mine. So one of my characters has a saber.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, that sounds like a friendly character. Is he a friendly character?
he's literally going to be my combat character, because the other one's going to be an economy player that stays. Well, I'm considering even having a third account that just does mining and the dirty work, and then the other character just doing
just
selling
having your alts
and
doing the specializations.
Yeah.
because it makes sense that those characters would do that. But I don't know yet.
It's funny how you're thinking of it, because you're thinking of it like this is my monk and this is my miner and this is my. It's kind of cool because there are no skills in Star Citizen, but you're role playing those skills actually existing, which is cool.
Right. But then you can build on efficiency if you compartmentalize the specific role of them. So this is a combat character. This is where he needs to be. This is where he logs off. This is what I do when I'm him. This is my miner. This is how he works. This is what I do when I log off. Bam. This is the guy that sells everything or just does all the admin for the corp. This is where he logs off. He's always in safe space.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I think that works better, but
it also
I've been
works with the
conditioned by
reputation stuff as well. So there'll be,
Yeah.
If you want your miner to have a different reputation than your transport guy, and you want your combat guy to have a different reputation than both of those, it makes it a lot easier to do that kind of stuff.
And it also makes it a lot less risky. So say that there is taxes when you die. Say that there is reputation loss when you die. If you only lose one of your characters, you're only losing a hit to that particular reputation rather than to the others as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we'll have to see how it's implemented.
That's true. Reputation might cause you to want to have multiple characters. That's why I still have multiple packages, because I just don't know yet what I want to do with that. So that's a really good question.
Mm-hmm. So that's it for our questions today. I guess that's a good one to end on.
Yeah.
So Twerk17, where can people find you, and what are you doing this week?
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/Twerk17 or
I've been there before.
You have, or at Twerk17 Gaming on Twitter and YouTube. What am I going to be doing this week? I don't know. I have to. Okay, so I have to figure out giveaways. So I have a lot of giveaways that I need to do that I haven't figured out what ships I'm going to do them for. So that's what I'm going to do. I've also been going to be starting our XCOM redo over because I screwed everything up on Friday.
Can I be one of the characters?
Yeah, so I have to figure out how to do it, but if you guys want, send me your characters and I'll put them into our pool, and I think we'll randomly, rather than me creating them on the fly, you can create yourself. I'll put them in the pool and we randomly just generate whoever we get.
So you'll be me?
Great idea.
Yeah, I mean...
Is that what you're saying? You want to be me?
For now, it's a subscriber per...
Or be on me. I'm a subscriber.
Whoa. I'm a subscriber to
I just wanted to make sure for like people that aren't, that that's like the only subscriber perk that I can give. So that's the one I'm giving.
Look at me,
and it's gone really well.
What are you giving to us to work?
Yeah, give it to us.
So yeah,
awesome. No, that sounds really fun.
Yeah, it is a really good time. I'm terrible, but I really enjoy the game, and it's kind of a cool story.
And BoredGamer.
Well, you can find me on all of the YouTubes at BoredGamer UK and on the Twitter, all that sort of jazz. But so this week, I'm mostly looking at any other mods I can find for Star Citizen. So I've got Titan ACS to look through. I've got some of the touchscreen and voice control, other stuff as well to look through, see if any of it's actually good or working. I'll see. I might be able to find some other cool stuff as well. I want to do a playthrough of all the missions and get all the audio for the Comore missions and put that together in some sort of video. Yeah, I'm just going to be playing a lot of Star Citizen. Going to be doing a video on Windows 10. Is it worth upgrading? Why is it worth upgrading? What you get from it? Is anything a bad idea? That sort of stuff. And it's relative to performance from Windows 7 and Windows 8 for Star Citizen. So, but spoilers, it is worth upgrading to Windows 10 for many different reasons. But we'll talk about that when... Well, I'll talk about that. You can listen to me. But other than that, I'd like to thank everyone that watched today and that views my channel and my Patreons and anyone that gives me an idea. You guys are literally legendary. Thank you so much. My channel is really growing at the moment, and the support and general feedback that I've had from everyone, and both Saurus and Twerk as well, has been amazeballs. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Really feeling the love today.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. about you?
For me, I'm going to be playing some Star Citizen right after this. As per usual. I'm going to start probably doing some more, getting into a little bit more Arma at nighttime sometimes. It's going to be completely sporadic and basically whenever I feel like it, but especially with a new expansion coming out, I don't know when it's coming out, but I already have it pre-ordered. It's ready to go. It's got DX12 implementation. Another hint to maybe why you should get Windows 10. And yeah, so doing that, but mostly a lot of Star Citizen stuff. I'm going to continue helping people getting their Vandal Swarm runs. I'm going to do that right after the stream today. So if you need that, definitely stick around for that. We also have the Salty Noodle shirt. I'm gonna let you guys know all about this again. I really liked it. A lot of people really enjoyed it. So spread that out there. If you want to come grab one of these, I have a link down below on twitch.tv/WTFOSaurus, or you can jump into my chat and type !shirt. Comes in both men's and women's and a bunch of different colors and low MSG, high salt. It's the guy from Benny's. Yay! Also, Redacted YouTube. This is where you're going to be able to see all of our interviews that we have and show here on the podcast, as well as your questions that we'll cut up and put them in here for people to find things easier and for more bite-sized content. There, we're already at almost 500 subs, 447. And growing pretty quickly, so pretty cool little place to catch up on little parts of things that maybe you have a question and you can check that out to see if it already answered. It's, everything's titled pretty easily. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. You can find me on twitch.tv/WTFOSaurus and twitter.com/WTFOSaurus. Right now we are still migrating the website to the Google servers, but they should be ready soon, probably 2 weeks in March.
I want to say probably next week. I don't want to say a date, but probably next week.
Soon, TM.
Putting the pressure.
2 weeks, March.
Yes.
Okay. So
well, I think they're going to start to test the migration next week. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for this. I will be back on in about not even 5 minutes. So stick around. And I will see you guys then. And thanks for watching this episode of Redacted. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. You're the,
Later, guys.
you're
Thank
the
you so much.
best. Woo! Obviously not the best because I am, but you're close.
I haven't ended it yet.